coming from Australia to come and play at Montverde, Ben looked like the future of basketball. I mean, then after that, he goes to LSU after Montverde, and he's getting compared to LeBron and getting called LeBron 2.0. He becomes an All-American for the Tigers, looks like a stud, and gets all these accolades. Going into the NBA draft, he only does a pre-draft workout with the 76ers, no one else. There's no question that this dude is going number one. If he's LeBron James 2.0, you'd be stupid not to take him. And he starts his career. First year, has an injury. Second year, comes back. Looks like he's going to be a matchup nightmare for every team in the NBA. He wins Rookie of the Year, which, controversy over that, wasn't technically a rookie, but it was his first year in the NBA. Pretty soon, he's an All-Star, and the next season, he's All-NBA third team. Going into this last playoffs, he's standing as a 3-time All-Star and a 2-time first-team All-Defense, and that's where the situation got sticky for Ben Simmons and the 76ers. This last postseason, Ben Simmons loses all his confidence. He's scared to shoot the ball, as we heard in that clip, had the ball under the basket in a big Game 7 and passed out. Was wide open. All he had to do was dunk it, but he lost all confidence. Ends up hurting the 76ers and is a huge reason why they got bounced early. Now he wants out. He's refused to show up to media, practice, in his preseason game, and he's been fined for the attendance. It's been confirmed that he's not going to be able to get that money back. His representative, I've heard, went to the Players Association, and they're like, sorry, nothing you can do. You got to show up to that stuff. Now, the 76ers want him back. He's a huge part of the team. Doc Rivers told John Clark of NBC Sports, who do you think defended Ben all year? I still think the world of him as a player. My question is, should he stay in the city of brotherly love, or is it best for both parties for him to bounce?
Going back to this guy's LSU days, I remember watching one of his games, and I heard all about how everyone thought he was the next LeBron. I'm going to be real with you. I never thought much of him at LSU, so I was shocked to see him actually win Rookie of the Year and do well, granted the controversy there. So, coming from that, I don't think this guy was much. He proved me wrong, and he turned out to be a huge part of the 76ers turnaround. I remember 76ers were just the absolute bottom of the barrel coming out of that East year in and year out. They get Ben Simmons in there. They get Embiid in there. They turn that city around. Still don't know why they fired Brown necessarily. Don't know if it was his fault, but they thought they'd make a move. Honestly, this past year, Simmons just didn't seem like the best fit all year. And in that playoffs, that was tough to watch, Carson. That was tough. I don't know if he's the right fit at this point, honestly. I think that, especially with him not wanting to be there, shows a lot. I think he's good. I think he has talent. But, however, I don't know if he fits in the 76ers scheme anymore. 76ers, kind of with him, are a bunch of big guys on the floor, and this man cannot shoot. And I do not think he will ever be able to shoot. I don't think there's a chance he's going to develop a shot. I used to think so. I thought, okay, let this guy get in the NBA where he's getting paid millions to put a ball in the hoop. I guess unless it's a layup, he still can't do that. So I think at this point, all the drama, it might just not even be worth it for him to be there. I say if you can get a good package for him, get rid of him, but it doesn't seem like anyone else even wants him. He's, again, Rookie of the Year, 3-time All-Star. He's got the accolades. He's got the stuff to back up his game. But just the drama, I don't know if it's worth it. I really don't.
I completely think it's a good move on the 76ers to keep him. I think this guy literally is every other aspect of the game you'd want. Defense, he's got a crazy IQ. He's only 25. He can pass, great vision. Defense, I just read off the defensive accolades. This dude's a monster. He's 6'10" and can guard 1 through probably 5. I would say 1 through 4 confidently. I think Philadelphia needs him. I think he's going to be huge for them, but I think it's in Ben's best situation if he gets out of town. I think he needs a fresh new start, and just the thing, Philadelphia, if they trade him, I don't know who they're going to get. Everybody that I keep hearing that they're going to get is just not Ben Simmons caliber, but you're also taking a risk if you trade for him. Who knows if he will develop a shot? Personally, I know where I stand on that. We're going to get to him developing a shot in a second, but I think 76ers should do what they can to convince him that this is where he should be. But for the sake of Ben Simmons' career and his ceiling and him reaching that ceiling, I think it's time to leave Philly.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like a good fit anymore. I mean, unless something crazy happens in these next weeks before the season, they decide that they actually like each other again.
Not happening. Not happening.
Which is, obviously not going to happen. I think it is probably. I think it's 76ers' best interest. If he doesn't want, if I'm the coach of that team and I'm that organization, if I am paying this guy all this money tonight and want to be there, then I don't want to pay it to him. I want to get rid of him. I want to get someone in there that wants to be there. I mean, they're probably going to have to pay him some, obviously, because contracts and everything. But still, I say, if he doesn't want to be there, you don't want him there. I think that you can go a little different route and center your offense more around Embiid, because Simmons really just didn't seem to be the center point of that offense anymore. They're trying to go. They got the shooters throughout the last few years, trying to go more that route, but it still wasn't working with Simmons on that floor. I think he needs to go somewhere where he's not. I don't think he should be point guard necessarily.
Really?
I really don't. I think that he could be more of kind of a, not saying he is Giannis, but kind of that same position as Giannis. I mean, it's a 4, but I think his point guard, it creates mismatches for him sometimes.
Doing what?
Yeah, because then he has to guard the little guys coming down the field.
Yeah, and he's dominant at
that.
that.
He is dominant at it, but then who's going to guard the other big guys? And then if you have him, here's the thing, if you have him at point guard and you still have your 4 and 5s out there, on most teams, the 4 and 5s aren't very good shooters.
But you have to keep in mind that this is the 76ers, and their 4 and 5s are Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris.
We were talking about if he goes somewhere else, though, is what I was saying. If he goes somewhere else, you're right. Tobias Harris and Embiid can shoot. Other teams, most teams, 4 and 5s can't shoot. So I think he needs to go somewhere where he's not that point guard bringing up the ball. He can play 4 bringing up the ball, but I don't think he needs to be that one position. Come on, maybe a 4. He can't shoot, though. And I don't think there's ever any hope for him shooting. I'm not really sure how or why. But that's my stance on it.
I think it's gone. He would have done something by now if he was returning. This is worse than what we saw to James Harden last year in terms of cutting ties between the teams. And I think the fines that Philadelphia gave him are the icing on the cake. I think if there was any chance that he was returning, it's gone now. After they gave him fines, I heard on Undisputed that it was $360,000 so far. And we're talking about his entire contract being fined against him. So he's given up probably $25 million. And so I think it's gone. So where's the best spot, with all this being said, for Ben Simmons? Mitch, yesterday when we discussed this, you said something about a team out in San Francisco. Are you still standing by that the Golden State Warriors are the best fit for the Australian native?
I think he could fit well with the Warriors. You look at them, they already have their 1, 2, 3 solidified. They got Curry. They got Thompson. Obviously, there's 2 best shooters in the game. And you got Wiggins coming off the 3. They keep putting Draymond Green out there on the floor, and every year everyone just seems to complain about Draymond Green. So why not give Ben Simmons to that team and let him try to do stuff that Draymond Green does? Draymond Green's a good defender. Ben Simmons is a good defender. If Ben Simmons can learn how to actually shoot those close-range shots that he wouldn't shoot in the playoffs and develop that post game, I think he could do what Draymond Green is supposed to do.
That's a tall task, though. That's a tall task, and the Warriors, I think, are a win-now team.
But I don't think Draymond Green is giving them much more than what Ben Simmons would give him right now.
Would you say Ben Simmons is a liability on offense right now?
I think he's a liability if you trust him to be your point guard, yes. However, if you're putting him at a 4...
How so is a point guard liability?
Well, if you're making him your go-to player on offense, which he kind of was.
He's not going to be go-to. He's going to be option number 3 on Golden State at the highest.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But
he's not go-to.
But you don't want him having the ball in his hands? Because that would be a big part of him being at the point. Because his court vision and passing game is too good to just stick him in the post and say, all right, figure it out, bro.
Yes, but if you put him at stretch 4, like Giannis or something, you come up, you do those high ball picks for Curry, for Thompson.
Who's screening, though? Curry's not screening for him.
Simmons is screening for Curry, Thompson. He picks for them, or he comes and gets that ball at the top of the post, and he can make decisions from there.
But if you want him on the pick and roll as a guy, you stand with the belief that he can develop a shot. And if he's setting a screen and he's rolling, there's only one spot he can go, and it's to the post, because the other guy's not going to follow him out to the mid-range or the arc.
No, I'm saying he sets a screen for Curry. Curry goes by, gives it back to him at the top of the post. Then he can swing it over.
Well, what's the point of that if you're just screening and just handing the ball right back to where you screened at? You know what I'm saying? What's the point if he's screening Curry's guy and Curry just gives him the ball anyway and then just goes and does his own thing?
I'm saying how you can get him the ball while being a 4 without being a point guard. Because I think if he's your number one option, your offense is not going to be good.
I'm not saying he should be number one, but I think he's the guy that you want with the ball on the top of the key to start the play.
I would not want him over Curry up there.
That's fair.
So I'm saying you put him on. I think he would be a good fit. Maybe this isn't the best fit out of all the teams, but I think when I thought of good fit for Ben Simmons, I thought Warriors. Why not give it a try? Why not give it a try?
I can give you a few reasons. One, spacing is everything for the Warriors, and that's been huge for them in this, quote, dynasty that they've had. Every guy on the floor can stretch the ball. You looked at before they had KD and when they had KD. That was huge. When they had Boogie Cousins, even Mo Spites when they had him was threatening to be a three-point shooter. He was looking good outside the arc when the Warriors were going in the finals. And if you put a guy out there that's not going to stretch the floor, that's going to be huge for the Warriors' game plan. And with a coach like Steve Kerr, I'm not sold on Kerr as a coach. I don't think he's going to be able to adjust to what Ben Simmons is going to pose to the team. I think, again, spacing is too important to what the Golden State Warriors do that I don't want Ben Simmons. Plus, if you are giving up Ben Simmons or giving up Draymond Green for Ben Simmons, I think that sends a bad message to your team. You've had guys like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond Green be loyal to your team. Steph Curry stuck through some dog days to get to the point where they were winning championships. And Draymond Green was a guy who stuck with this team. Free agency. He took a pay cut to keep other guys in Golden State. And then you just trade him for a guy that, who knows if the team, would want this guy that's been struggling to shoot and doesn't have confidence. It's a bad message. Curry's a guy who loves Draymond Green, and that's a guy who stuck with you. Do you want to say, hey, we love this guy, we love you, and we know you love him, but he's gone? Would you, if you're the Packers, would you trade Devontae Adams and send that message to Aaron Rodgers? If you're the Chiefs, would you trade Kelsey and send that message to Mahomes? If your franchise guy likes somebody, you don't give him up for a guy that's, one, isn't guaranteed to be success, and two, is going to potentially change your entire offensive scheme.
Where would you send him then?
My thought, I think Portland's a good fit. I really do like the way he could fit in Portland. And I think C.J. McCollum would be about as good as it gets for the 76ers as a return. I think Portland is the best spot for Ben Simmons.
So you would give up McCollum for Simmons is what you're saying?
100%. If I'm either team.
I don't like that.
Why not?
I don't think that Simmons could bring anything more that McCollum would bring. I think McCollum is too good with Lillard. I mean that's their whole personality of the team.
And where's it gotten them?
Hasn't gotten them very far, but I don't think that. I mean, I guess you're talking about Lillard with Simmons.
That could be crazy. I'm a guy who thinks Ben Simmons can stretch out his shot. I think he's working on his game, and I'm not saying it's happening this year or even next year, but I think that could be deadly, and I think that could be a big guy to get Damian Lillard as a co-option. And you're saying you don't think he's going to be what C.J. McCollum is, and McCollum is not a guy on defense that I'm comfortable with on the court at all times. Ben Simmons could be huge for Portland. It's a team that has struggled with defense over the past few years. Who's their best defender? Hassan Whiteside?
Hassan Whiteside is actually on the Kings.
When he was on there, who was it this last year? You think Carmelo Anthony or Damian Lillard are your lockdown guys? I mean, I just think that Portland, it would be a good fit and a good refresh for Ben Simmons. It's far from Philadelphia. It would give him a huge chance to rebrand, refresh, get his mind right, and restart this career. He's only 25.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. I feel like he's kind of been in this league for a while now.
That's just basketball.
Yeah.
Baseball,
they start so young.
Baseball, you go to college, get drafted. You probably spend 3 years in the minor leagues before you even get called up. You're making your debut as a 24-year-old if you're really good.
Or
now
you're Whit Merrifield and you debut at 27.
Yeah,
and now you're trying to get money and you're, 30, 32, 33.
There's guys like Juan Soto, Bryce Harper, who are just anomalies, get called up when they're 18, 19, but that's a rarity. Most of the guys making their debuts in the 20s. NFL, you can't even get drafted until you're 21 at the minimum. You had to be 3 years of college. Basketball, it's one and done. Josh Giddey on the Oklahoma City Thunder is 18. Last year, Aleksej Pokusevski on the Thunder was 18 all the way until December. Basketball, you just get drafted young, and that's why Ben Simmons, he's been in the league for, 5 years. He's drafted in 2016, and he's only 25. I think Portland would be a good, fresh restart for him. He's a guy who's got plenty of time to turn things around.
Yeah, I definitely think that he has value to bring to a different team. I don't think he has much value left. Doesn't seem to care enough to bring value to 76ers. But I do think that he needs a fresh start, and I think that there are a good amount of teams out there that could benefit with him. But I think we're both in agreement that 76ers is not that one anymore.
One dark horse that I don't see, I saw one source talking about it over the past summer of this Ben Simmons drama. I don't hear anybody talking about the Dallas Mavericks. I think that could be an interesting fit for Ben Simmons. I think it could give Luka some defense. Luka's not a good guy on defense. Could be a good number 2 guy to have on the team, because I think it's time for Porzingis to part ways as well.
Yeah, Porzingis, that has been a bust of a trade so far.
That has been one of the most disappointing. I heard Luka and Porzingis were going to be teammates. I thought it's going to be huge for a decade.
I was so excited. To watch that, and then, I haven't even seen hardly any highlights of them together.
Porzingis has been...
He's just hurt all the time.
He's been hurt, and he hasn't recovered, and he just hasn't looked good.
No.
I think Dallas could be a big spot for Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
I like that. Does he ever play in Philadelphia again?
From the sounds of it, no.
I don't think he ever
think
does.
So.
I think, like I said, ties have been cut. It's too far gone.
I think that now the 76ers are acting like they want him back. I think it's kind of more of a...
I think this is like a last resort.
Yeah, exactly. They're just trying to look good, I think.
So you don't think he can develop a jump shot?
No, I don't.
Even though you're just saying he's 25 and he's got...
I think he's 25, but, I don't think it should take you 25 years to develop a jump shot.
He wasn't a jump shot liability at college, Montverde, and he didn't look like one. And then Philadelphia in his first few years, now all of a sudden it's just, I think it's confidence is his thing. And I think he can develop the jump shot.
I didn't see him shoot at LSU either.
I don't think you watched LSU if you didn't think that he was going to be the guy coming out of that draft class.
I watched some games at LSU. I really didn't think he was that insane or anything. I really didn't. It was like watching Bobo in high school. I was like,
oh my gosh, no way you just made that comparison. Not a chance.
Bobo, everyone thought that man was so good, and then he shows up to my high school.
That's what happens when you play in JoCo.
And he just shot threes the whole game. I was like, what is this?
That's JoCo basketball.
Yeah, that is.
I think he can develop a shot. There's been a wide variety of players who have developed jump shots. Granted, it hasn't always taken him as long as it took Ben Simmons, but Blake Griffin developed a jump shot. Kawhi Leonard did not have a jump shot nearly as good as it was at San Diego State, and now he's one of the best players in the game. Paul Millsap developed a jumper. Jason Kidd, who's the coach of the Dallas Mavericks now, we could talk about his picture. I don't know if you saw that, but his coaching profile picture was something to look at. If you got time after the show, I'd encourage all our viewers to check out that. It's interesting to say the least. But Jason Kidd, one of the greatest point guards of all time, developed a jump shot. Richard Jefferson developed a jump shot. And then recently we've seen Aaron Gordon do the same thing. I think Ben Simmons, he's only 25, fresh start. Get him some work in with lethal shooter in the offseason. And I think Ben Simmons, within 2 years, has a 2K grade of B- from the mid-range.